Welcome back to the Reality Court Courtroom. My name is Ace Fanning, and I am the dumbass who last week tried really hard to use a big word like constituents, but fumbled when it came, despite my phonetic spelling on my notes. And I said constituents.
Did you really?
Oh boy. And the funny thing is that he calls me out on everything, Kate, everything, because he calls me grandma and he says I'm out of touch.
You called her grandmother?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I say that she is the hottest grandma I know.
Well, he does that, but I let that slide. Not only did he not know how to say constituents, but he didn't know how to use it because in no world does constituents apply to anything in a courtroom, because that is a political term about the people.
Oh my God.
Guys, I'm telling you, I'm a product of the Arizona public school system. Please, okay?
Peoria, Arizona.
So today I am switching things up because we are instead having two judges here today. We have the very dishonorable Anna Quincoces, former Real Housewife, current hottest Real House grandma that I know to this day. You know, don't let her facelift fool you. She is a grandma.
She looks great. Movie star.
She looks amazing. Yeah. Yes, but she is a grandma, and you will see as the show goes on, her grandma come out quite a bit. But today, joining us is someone who clearly has much better things to do than hang out with us, but she's gracing us with her presence anyway. She's a woman of actual intellect who probably doesn't need to Google how to spell constituents in the first place. She is the queen of reality TV commentary, the host of the chart-topping Reality Life with Kate Casey podcast, and basically everything I aspire to be but will never achieve. The amazing Kate Casey.
That was dumb. I don't know why you said that.
That is an accurate and very good.
Kate, you're smart. Like, you've been in DC. You have an education. You are, you know.
You know what's kind of funny though? People think I'm an attorney because I did media strategy for law firms for so long, and they think I'm an attorney. I'm not an attorney.
You basically, I mean, I think of myself as an attorney, and my my LinkedIn is like CSI, Law and Order, Scandal, you know, like all those things. So
yeah, I hear you.
I think you're more qualified than
I'm glad to be here.
Either of us, you know. Guys, happy birthday to Anna Quincoces.
Yes.
How old are you turning? 39?
What the hell is wrong with you?
I am, first of all, I am wearing my pajamas.
Yes.
And as I explained to them, I have still my makeup from last night and a little bit of carb face going. But I celebrated the death, the end of my 50s.
What?
You look good, girl.
Holy shit.
You look good.
Oh my God. Anna, you are so gorgeous.
Seriously.
Oh, thank you.
Go high five a wall.
Your brain is 60. Your brain is 60.
My brain is
your
almost
outer
60.
Your outer is not. Wow.
Yeah, my brain, but I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. I'm trying to stay hip and cool. Like what other grandma would wear pajamas to?
So which daughter had kids? Which daughter had kids?
Both Kathy and Beba. Kathy has a 4 week. No, yeah, like what? He's 5. Preston is 5 weeks old, and Beba has a 2.5-year-old.
And what is the 2.5-year-old's name?
Lola.
Lola,
and she is such a Lola. The kid is a menace to society. She is literally wearing a 5T.
Oh, wow.
She's in the 99%, you know, because Bea's very tall and so is her husband. But I think she's maybe has gigantism. So we're hoping model or basketball player.
No kidding. Yeah.
She's a Kendall Jenner of Oshkosh. Kate also wears a 5T as well.
I got one kid in 5T, actually. I got one kid in 5T.
You have, see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm such a grandma. This is terrible. Okay.
Oh, guys, we have so many things that I want to talk about. And here's the thing. You know, we are really in the slums of it all. Kate, I know that you have worked on much bigger cases than this. I know that you've been a part of much bigger presidencies than this. But
okay, why are you acting like I worked like in an executive position? I was a White House intern during the Monica Lewinsky scandal.
That's huge.
I delivered the clips. I wasn't part of policy.
You had some level of security clearance.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
I've
big
never had a
deal.
security
Neither one
clearance
of
for
us-
anything.
Neither one of us can be trusted at all, let alone
I know, but
any
it was also
level
in
of security
college.
clearance.
Like, most people haven't like done much in college, so it was
Okay,
fine. Easy.
let me say something. The closest I will ever get to the White House is when we had Real Housewives of DC, and
Which
that
was just
couple
so
snuck
good.
in. That was a
Yeah,
great show.
that was a
But
great season.
It
when
was.
they snuck in, that would probably be me and Caitlin. That's about as close.
Yeah,
as
that
we
sounds
could
right. That sounds right.
Yeah.
get. All right. I want to start with a story that is really tickling my taint quite a bit because there's a lot of speculation going on here. Over in Southern Charm, JT has quit Southern Charm mid production. Now, the trailer gives us a lot of Austin versus Craig, the fallout of their relationship, but JT has gone on Instagram, as one does with the create mode, and written us a beautiful letter where he types season as SZN, which I did appreciate.
Oh boy.
But he says that he will not be doing any more of his confessionals. He's out. He's going to focus on his mental health, his physical health. Here's the thing. Is he guilty of just being a little bitch and not following through with his contractual obligations? Or is he really putting his mental health first? Like, what happened this season that's something happened with him that he's like, oh, I don't like how I'm going to be portrayed. I'm out of here.
It's possible, but the way that he wrote it up, it made me feel like maybe he's sober.
Oh, God.
And it wouldn't be a smart idea to continue filming.
But here's the thing. They're done with like the actual filming of like parties and stuff. It's just he had his confessionals and he's like, I'm not doing them. I have a couple more to go and I'm not doing them.
I don't know. Maybe people are questioning his sobriety. I don't know. The way it was written up to me, that's kind of what I was reading through the lines. But
Okay.
I also think that's a hard show to be on. Anybody that's been cast for that show, like, seasons 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, 20, it's really hard to get screen time against all the others. And you really have to be like super diabolical. And if you're not what the audience wants, it can make you really uncomfortable during filming. You're like, I can't do anything right. You could be very frustrated.
I love that.
I think he's a little bitch. No, really, I do. I do. And I think that he just had like that momentary hissy fit that housewives have. And it's like, I'm out of here. I quit. Enough. Bravo, bravo, bravo. That's what I think it was.
You just
Like, I really do. And it doesn't have something to do with Vanita. Didn't he have, or
Oh,
who
yeah,
was
they were
dating
like hooking up for a hot minute, I thought. They made it seem like it,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that was for storyline or what.
He's lost a lot of weight. Have you seen the
Yeah.
pictures?
I mean,
No.
Kate, who
There's
has
a little
not
bit
lost a
of
lot of weight right now?
Metamorphosis, don't you think? Where I'm
Do you
like,
think it's
what?
because he's sober or because of the Ozempic, like
I don't
this
know.
one
It's a
over
good question. Yeah, it's a good question because he does look dramatically different.
He does.
He's someone that I felt like, why are you here? Like, you're very forgettable to me.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to get on that show because if it doesn't make complete sense, you're not friends from 20 years ago, you don't really work.
Wouldn't you be so pissed if you're on this show for several seasons and then Craig brings on Paige and she becomes basically, she's not even in the credits. She's nothing, but she's going to have more screen time than any of them.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what happens and it drives them insane.
Oh, I love it.
If you're part of like the Holy Trinity there, and you're close to them, then you get airtime. If you're at odds with them, then you don't get airtime. We know how much Andy loves Shep, like he adores him. He can do no wrong. I think JT, and I'm not putting down short people, I swear, here's my grandma part, but I do think he has a bit of a complex when it comes to that, and he overcompensates. And in overcompensating, he comes across not as well as he could. You know what I mean? He's always trying to differentiate himself from the other people, when probably on that show, the more alike you are, the more it's going to work, Yeah. And I don't know.
Do you not find it crazy that in the trailer, Shep is talking to Craig about his sobriety? Like Shep, of all people.
Yeah,
like I'm just like, yikes. I don't ever want to hear you talk about anyone's drinking or anything, because I feel like of all the people we've ever had on Bravo, Shep is the most drunk, to say the
Well,
least.
he's also the poster child for Peter Pan syndrome, like I've
Yes.
never seen. He's got I don't know why his parents seem like a happy couple. It doesn't sound like childhood trauma. I think this is a choice that is, I don't know, fueled by some level of mental illness, which is fine because I have mental
Well,
illness
I'm
too,
I'm
but
gonna
it's
throw
more
him a
subtle.
bone. I know him quite well.
Do
I
you?
think
Oh.
I think he's been very. I mean, I think it's kind of great when an adult says, "I don't really want to get married. I don't want to have kids." I mean, you
I
just save
actually do
somebody
too.
a
I
ton of
think it's
time,
responsible.
Oh,
and
and a
I think he's
flip-flopper.
just
I do. No, not everyone is supposed to have children. I have a
Yeah.
brother. I love my brother, but my brother's selfish. He wants to travel around the world 50,000 times. He's
Mhm.
already in his 50s, so he chose to never have children. He's counting on my children to take care of him at the nursing home when my own daughter Beva tells me she's going to put me in a home where they serve expired yogurt. I'm not sure why the yogurt has to be expired, but I think that it is a good decision when you know that that's not the right lifestyle for you. I really do.
Yeah.
And I love Shep, by the way. I want to be Shep's like advisor. But I do think he's just the favorite. When you're Andy's favorite, it's a wonderful thing. He executive
Yeah.
produces every show.
Kate, do you know which of your kids will take care of you?
Probably my son. He seems
Okay.
to like me the most right now,
Firstborn?
but that could change. No, second. I have 4 girls and
Really?
1 boy.
I feel like that's
It could change. Who knows?
as the only boy in my family, I can tell you I'm not going to be that person. But I'm
Yeah.
also
Well, you
the
also have
baby.
2 little kids, so you're like, I'm over my head right now.
I'm out of it. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
not going to be very helpful.
Usually the firstborn is the good one,
Yeah.
you know.
I will say this about Shep, but I really appreciate him on a network that's filled with a lot of dodo birds and dingalings. He's intellectual and he reads books and he's
He does read.
cultured, and I think
Yep.
that's why Andy likes him. He's a shining kind of bird. I don't know. He's like somebody who's differentiates himself from the rest of the other cast members. And I also think he really does encapsulate the Southern gentleman, and which was their main aim when they created that show. So
Right.
the Whitney, and I like the dynamic of Whitney and Shep and the way that they give each other shit because they clearly have been given silver spoons. What I appreciate about both of them is and this is coming from somebody who came from nothing. I appreciate someone who's come from the silver spoon lifestyle, and they own it.
Yeah. I do like that in that show. That's what you're expecting. And then you get, I don't dislike Craig, but Craig is not that. And so you start putting a lot of people in there that are not that. Then is it still Southern charm? Like they are the
Yeah.
essence of Southern charm.
They are, yeah.
Whitney and Shep. And so and Patricia, my God, déclassée. Like I've started incorporating that word into my everyday conversations. That's one of my favorite shows. So
Kate,
I like the dynamic of Craig and Shep because Craig is, he's an attorney with ADHD, which like cracks me up because you wouldn't think that. And he's a northerner, and there are elements of that culture. Like, you're not accepted if you're a northerner, and
Right.
it kind of touches on that. And then you've
It
got
does.
this deep friendship where they're almost like brothers.
Mhm.
So again, I think if you're a new cast member, to kind of infiltrate that is near impossible. They just have such a great, interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
I
Which
think
is why the show works.
Yeah.
I think that Craig is one of the most beautiful men on Bravo.
He's gorgeous. Yeah.
But Kate, would you ever, get a tingle downstairs for Austin? Like so many
no way.
women. Okay.
No. Nope.
I don't get that one. Like, why are so many women after Austin?
I think because there's an element of like the chase. Like he says he wants to. Here's the difference between Austin and Shep. Is Shep's like, I'm never going to get married. I'm going to be a dog. That's who I am. Sorry.
Okay.
And Austin pretends he wants to get married and have kids. So I think there are a lot of women that are tantalized by the idea of like, I'm going to be the one that makes him want to settle down.
Yeah.
Okay. I see that.
I think that's right. That's
right. In regards to JT, Anna, you're saying guilty. Kate, you're saying innocent?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Listen, she's not fully on board with the innocent, but it's fine.
He may have been like,
Well,
wait, I'm over my head here. I don't belong on
reasonable
this
doubt.
show.
What she's saying is that there's
thank you.
reasonable doubt to believe that he could be dealing with sobriety, which is a very serious issue, and he's putting his self-care first, and that's okay. But I think he's a pussy.
Yeah. And by the way, two things could be true.
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive. We could have both at the same time.
I think
a sober
that
pussy.
if he gets, time in prison from us, I think we call up Emily Simpson, have her call the Innocence Project, and get him.
Good call.
Emily Simpson's on my shit list right now.
Because Emily Simpson, listen, I don't know, and I do like Emily, and I have met her, spoken to her. She's always been very nice to me, but she's going really hard on the I'm a lawyer. Like,
okay, I take
impressive.
that. But I kind of appreciate it because OC does it's and I live here, so I can speak to this. There's not a lot of it's like a lot of like surface level talk. Everything's very surface, and it's really hard to be a smart person in a place where people don't want to have interesting conversations.
Right.
So I like it when she does that because I think if you didn't have that, you'd be really bored.
Well, that's probably true. It did add a little interest to that first episode of the
And by the way,
reunion.
she might be right when she says Ryan doesn't like me because I am an attorney. They're probably, Anna, that people don't want to be around you because they're doing a little something, or they're worried they're perceived as doing something, and you can smell bullshit a mile away, and people want to be around somebody who can smell it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And look, I do agree with that. I just think that she's gotten much more into the problem is for me, like Heather is so rehearsed. Like I feel like she's always acting. She thinks, every season is a new, line on her IMDb. And Heather is very smart, but in her being smart, she's trying to talk people down, and talk people, like as if she's somehow superior in the way she handles life in general. I think that Emily's input is maybe to inform. I think that she's doing a lot of research for this because she didn't practice. I believe she was a party planner. I don't know if she ever practiced, which is fine. I'm doing podcasts and writing cookbooks, so that doesn't matter. But I don't know. I feel like it's a little much. Like, is she after Ryan? Does she want to see them go down? Like, I love Jen because I feel that she is the most gullible, most Pollyanna housewife to ever exist. And so I want to protect her. So
you know what? I'm just still trying to figure out if she is Pollyanna. Because to be almost 50 years old and to have everyone in your life always take care of you, that does require some sort of maneuvery.
That is a life I aspire to live. That's
not for me.
I want to be that. I want to be that.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that.
No, I do. Well, because you're still too young. When you look back on your life in my pajamas and my carb face, I could tell you that being that girl, it's nice. You know what I mean? It's
Kate's smart though, better. Anna. Like she can go places in her life.
No, I do not want to be like her. To be a mother of 5,
truly is bliss.
A mother of 5 in a doctor's office, and admitting that you felt a lump but didn't do anything about it because it was too overwhelming. When you are a mother of 5, I was like, I can't be friends with her ever.
What does it tell you that she has fostered kids? I don't know. I know when a person is. I haven't met her in person, but I kind of feel like there's a genuineness about her.
That's right. She did foster Kate.
Yeah.
That's true.
Don't forget
about that.
That's a lot. That's the most selfless thing.
So I think what's great about Housewives is that episode to episode, you can flip on your opinion all the time.
Oh yeah.
And the problem is all the women are complex. And so it takes quite a bit of time to really reveal someone's total personal story.
You're being very generous in calling them complex.
But I thought
there are some that are not.
What did you think about the scene? Because I could have done a documentary on the scene where she's with her parents in the kitchen of her boyfriend's home, and she's got all these financial issues, And she says to her father in front of her mother, "Thank you, Daddy, for helping like bail me out," but doesn't address the mom.
Here's the thing.
Why did that happen? That's multi-layered.
Oh,
What's going
I
on with
didn't.
that?
Well, I didn't think about the fact that she didn't address her mom. I thought to myself though that like, listen, if my wife was on TV and saying thank you to her dad for helping cover our ass for bills, I'd be so embarrassed. But as a viewer, I love it. I love it, you know.
True.
But and
Yeah.
I am a flip flopper because Kate and I literally recorded an episode right before this, and I came on and said that Bronwyn from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was my queen, and I would lay down my life for her. And then
And I
Kate
flipped
said
you
like
in
2
2
things, and I
minutes.
was like, you know what? Fuck her.
You're right.
Fuck
Yeah.
Bronwyn.
Yeah.
And I'll be back on the train tomorrow. That's how it goes with
And
me.
then I'll talk to you again and we'll
I do think that
reset.
her not thanking her mother is consistent with who she is, and the fact that maybe it's not a lie that she's a Pollyanna and an ingenue, because she was maybe raised by a mother that took that position as just like the husband takes care of her and she's just there as, trad wife.
Here's the
Which
thing.
is frustrating in the year 2024 for me to watch a show where someone wants to be celebrated for just expecting someone else to fix things for them all the time when you have 5 kids and you're on this platform, and we live in a time where I think women want to find their power. It drives me insane.
Right. Well,
See, this is what I'm
of
saying,
course, is
Kate.
difficult.
You're smart. You're not supposed to
I
be
mean,
down here in the
I
slums.
did like the scene where Andy's like, well, he did get immunity, and she is sort
She
of writing
didn't
that off.
understand what that was.
She
And I
doesn't,
think
and I'm like, you are about to get married and and have a situation where your children are around someone who may be in a very precarious or seems to be in a very precarious legal situation, and you're not going to do the work. It's just putting your head in the sand. It shouldn't be something that you do at the age of 50. It frustrates me.
I really, I don't know, and I usually am so suspicious of people and of women too. And a lot of people, my daughters accuse me of always being on the man's side, and it's not that. It's just that
Do they really? They think you do?
they accuse me of that, but it's not because I have such high expectations of women that it pisses me off when they don't rise to the occasion, and so then I just don't always defend them. And in this case, I don't know why. I really believe that she's not that smart, and I believe that everything Ryan tells her, she takes at face value.
I know.
And she says,
It worries
the feds
me.
called me, and so that's it. The feds called me, or or I called or however it was. Like, I didn't have to. You could tell in her face that she didn't understand that immunity was a negotiation. Like, you give me something, I give you something. She was like, I don't know.
I do hate to admit this, but for some of us who, got through school but maybe didn't do the best, I thought he was innocent when they said immunity.
Well, he's sure honest.
Well, so did his constituents. They all believe that.
Yeah, the constituents did too. Yes.
All right, let's focus. Emily and Heather, they're coming for Katie hard at this reunion. Heather delivers a line that she rehearsed so much. Did I kill your cat? She's so I hate her. And they're doing this because Katie said that Heather called the paparazzi at Disneyland, and Emily's doing it because Heather said that, because Katie's daughter said that Emily's son said Heather was a bitch. Like, does the punishment fit the crime? Like, is Katie just getting way too much thrown her way by these two?
I think it's elements of hazing, first season housewife, and things that happen off camera. Like, they get angry because her daughter, and it's going to come up at the reunion, her daughter posts these videos making fun of them. It's like a building on building on building on. It's the stuff that happens outside that's what you see, the over the top reactions, I said this on my show with you too, is that the problem with the Katie story is, and I have spent a little bit of time with her, there is a relationship with an ex-husband that is very complex. And I think the difficulty in telling that story is it's a very sensitive topic, and you have to be kind of cut and dry about it. Like, this is what it was. But
And that's it,
she isn't able to legally to really talk about all of it.
the biggest
And it
problem.
leaves room for people to have
Speculate.
questions and assume that you're making up parts of your story. So I think it's this is not disrespectful to her at all. I think it's a casting problem if you cast somebody who can't tell their complete story because of legal issues.
The problem is that even if you cast them correctly without any legal problems throughout a season, now legal problems, they've become so litigious. They're
Yeah, that's true.
always, you know what I mean? So you can cast
Yeah.
somebody that's squeaky clean, nothing on the docket, and all of a sudden there's 5 lawsuits against them. I think Heather is seriously sour grapes because she did call the paparazzi. I am 100% positive she called the paparazzi, because only somebody that would have called the paparazzi would care that much about this shit. Like, let it go. She cannot let it go
Yeah.
because she aspires to be, I don't know what she aspires to be, but all this bullshit of like, is that Drake's house? Is that so-and-so's house?
Oh,
Like, come
God.
on, like, chill. Okay. And so the thought that she'd have to call the paparazzi when she thinks that she's on the same level playing field as like Drake upsets her so much, she's never going to let it go.
I would just
She's
blame
never-
it on Terry, because I'm sure Terry calls Bob. Like, just say Terry did it and just laugh about it and call it a day and then move on.
She could never.
I know, but
She
that's dumb.
could never.
And as far as that Katie girl, I'm kind of ambivalent about her. I don't know how I feel about her yet, but I thought the way that she explained her story, and look, it's very hard. Emily is right. It's very hard to lose custody of a child. You have to try. Like, you really have to want to lose custody. But I feel that her explanation, Andy seemed very satisfied with it, and even I was satisfied with it, in that she was young, she did not have whatever means, and she thought that was the best thing for her child, just like when somebody gives up a child for adoption.
Yeah.
And that then
Well, do you guys know her backstory at all?
No.
She was adopted from Korea, and she was adopted into a white family in Georgia, very conservative. So she went on a vacation to Hawaii, and that's where she met her ex-husband. I think she was 19, and he came to visit her like 3 times. And on one of those occasions, she got pregnant. So she felt like she had to get married, and she saw red flags, and so she got married, and they had 2 children, and it was not a strong marriage. And like a lot of women, she thought, well, maybe if we have another baby, it'll fix it. And it got worse. And that's where it's difficult, because there's a lot more to that story, but she is not able to tell it. And so I think there are a lot of women that probably see themselves in her story.
Yeah.
And I do think it's a really important story to tell. And that's why I'm like, I almost wish they had cast someone who could tell all of it. But how do you do that when the other person doesn't want to be involved with the show? And it's kind of like it's a hard thing to film.
Yeah. I think that's changed in Housewives. They've had to change the fact that there's a lot of stuff that it'll just be discussed outside of the kind of purview of the cameras. And before, that wasn't allowed.
You're right.
It wasn't allowed.
You're
like
right.
when I was at the time when I got divorced and I was dating and then engaged to somebody that was a former U.S. I was engaged to somebody, a former U.S. attorney, somebody that was actually appointed by Bush, like not just a regular lawyer. He could not be on the show. He could not. There's no way. And it ended my storyline. Because what am I going to do?
Exactly.
So just be single or not date, not whatever. And this person was a part, but that's okay.
I don't like that's okay.
Right. I don't either. I think they should hold up those standards. And I think the shows have changed a lot because of it.
I will say,
on New York, Jenna Lyons, all we see is like her in a closet with her girlfriend's mother. I'm like, I don't know who your friends are.
I don't understand.
You learn so much about someone, their relationship with their children, how their children talk to their parent. You learn so much that way. You learn so much from meeting their parents. I learned so much about Heather Dubrow meeting her mother on screen. I was like, oh, I get it. You learn so much when you meet somebody's friends, their coworkers.
Yeah.
It sets the whole picture. And when you don't give us access to the full story, you're left to wonder. And I think that when you are left to wonder, that's when the other castmates start digging. And then they start calling you out.
Dubrow, Kate?
I do. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
You know her and
Yeah.
you like her? I'm sorry to
She's, I have to say,
it's just that we've been very obvious and you've been very quiet. So
well, I know almost all of them. Yeah, she's very sweet. Her son goes to school with my college with my niece, and they're lovely people. But I feel what's missing from there is that really their lives are in LA.
Yes.
Their kids don't go to school here.
No.
So their lives don't intersect with anybody on the cast at all.
But I also don't want them in Beverly Hills. Like everyone keeps being like, Heather needs to go to Beverly Hills. I'm
That's
like, no,
what
no.
she wants, I think.
I like Heather in Orange County because I love how she looks down on everybody. Like that's a great part of her character. Yeah. And I think if she goes to Beverly Hills, she's just another somebody. And I'm not interested.
But also that does happen here because this is a really the story that they never tell on OC. I don't know why. The real story living here, because I'm from back east. It is so impossible to penetrate this social area because everybody grew up here. They all went to USC. They were in the same fraternity or sorority. They'll go on group trips with 16 people and everyone's wearing matching trucker hats that say mermaid. You are not given access it's really hard. That's the story I think that they don't tell. And I think that they attempt to by having Heather, who's from the East Coast, like she's a fish out of water. She doesn't fit in. But they didn't tell it the right way, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
she needs to hire you as a producer.
I know. I would love
sure.
It. I would
Seriously.
Heather is really
I feel like I could cast that show better because they get a bunch of women who live in different, like if you made Real Housewives of Miami and you had like one in Palm Beach, one in like Coconut Grove, one in like Star Island, you'd be like, how did those people ever hang out?
Right,
It just doesn't work. That's how it is here. No one lives close to one another. Their kids' lives don't intersect. It doesn't make any sense.
That's like I heard Wendy on Potomac lives like 2 hours away from everyone else.
Oh, that makes no sense.
And okay, so I feel like if you're going to redo the show and get different people, it's like go back to the beginning when everyone lived in
the same community and you get to meet their kids, their parents, their children.
What was that neighborhood called? Coto de Casa.
Coto de Casa. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
and that's by the way, that's way out. It's way out inland. This is kind of perfect because it's more like isolated. I think that's why it worked too.
And it's behind some gates.
Yes.
I mean, not really.
Okay.
I thought there was like a guard to get in.
I mean, not really. That was the guard gate of Lou Knickerbocker's estate.
Yes, Okay.
You know about B-roll, Ace. You know about B-roll.
Oh, I do. Do we
It's not like you pull up to the city of Coto de Casa like it's the Wizard of Oz and you need like a special key or a pound code or something.
Oh, wait, see, I imagine you drive up and you know how like Disneyland, there's like statues of like Mickey and stuff. So you see a statue of Vicky, you see her screaming on her phone and stuff like that. That's how I picture Coto de Casa. And I'm not going to believe anything else.
And I also like that first season because it was like you get all the women were kind of like hanging out at the tennis club.
Yeah.
Like, I could see that. Like that person. The best part to me of that show where the first season was the class issues between Vicky and Lori. And then when Lori gets married.
Oh, Vicky was pissed.
And then Lori has money. Like that. I could just write a whole documentary or do a whole documentary just about that.
The Sky Tops.
Sky Tops.
I love it.
Well, they got the Sky Tops because there was the person that manufactured it, offered it to them. That was like the first of the influencer thing where you got free stuff.
Oh, wow.
So that's why they all wore it, which then goes back to like, oh, I thought you were so wealthy and you have so much money. No, they were like getting free clothes.
Right. Why are you
I would love to get myself a sky top blouse. So,
wait, Anna, do you watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Yeah. I started to, yeah.
Did you see the scene where Bronwyn and her husband go to Palm Springs with everybody and they have a jeweler come out with the $4 million necklace and the earrings? What do you think about that?
I think that was a Miami move where everybody, like the husband comes and bestows these like $100,000, $200,000 watches in a public place. I just think it's a lot. It's unnecessary. It's like, I think that she's always trying to justify why she's with the old, saggy husband. And so these are the perks. But to me, see, this is the thing. This is why I never married some rich guy with a private plane, because you got to sleep with him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You have to look
have
across the
sleep with
table
him,
at
and you
them.
can't take the Birkin with you. The Birkin doesn't make that part of it better. And
Right.
so no. And you know what I just discovered by having a grandson? Completely unrelated. Boys, babies, men start out with wrinkly balls. They're already wrinkly when they're born. So imagine what his look like.
Right.
Can you imagine those testicles? They must be by his knee.
I
You would
think-
think a baby would start with smooth, right? And over time, with the
Right.
wear and tear of life,
This is when I say
No,
she's literally a grandma.
they
I
start
think
out wrinkled.
I think that
can't
his
stop
balls
thinking
hit the
about his
toilet
balls,
water when
that
he
old
takes a
man's
shit.
balls.
I don't. He's like a Tom Girardi to me, the way he talks to his wife, and to be annoyed and yelling and kicking people out. You know,
Yeah.
why did you agree to be on this show? You
Right.
signed off on it too, friend. Like,
I think he's,
you're
I honestly
I would
think
say
he's
to him
regretting it.
privately, as if I were a producer, I'd say, I just need you to know you just humiliated your wife. You humiliated her.
And
So-
himself too.
For sure.
Because he's a tool. Like, you know what I'm saying? He has to know that she married him. Like, come on. What does she marry him for other than him? You know, and then she has a lot to prove too. You know? I don't know. Quiet. Don't we like quiet luxury? This whole thing that Sophia, whatever her
Mhm.
name was. See, I
Sophia
know something.
Green. Yeah.
Yeah. She's kind of trademarked this look of like just quiet, you know, wealth whispers,
Wealth
rich
whispers.
screams or whatever, or yells, or she's yelling. She's yelling.
I like people in the Northeast would croak rather than have somebody show up with like a piece of jewelry. I don't care if it's 20
so
bucks.
ridiculous.
You'd
It's
be so
ridiculous.
embarrassed.
I mean,
Okay. Emily and Heather, are we finding them guilty of going too hard on Katie, or do we feel like the punishment did fit the crime?
I was fine with it.
Anna?
here's the thing. You know, I can't on the one hand call JT a pussy and then say that, you know, you're there, you need to take it, and it's part of your past, and you knew that it was going to come up. So no, I didn't think they went too hard. I think that's the essence of, you know, that's
what you sign up for,
what
friend.
you signed up for. Yeah, that's the nature of the beast.
Like,
So we're
buckle up for the
throwing-
reunion. Yeah.
Throw
I'm
this
fine.
one out. But I will say that I definitely find them to be guilty. I feel like Katie was ambushed, and I'm a hypocrite because I do find JT to be a pussy, and I just want to put that on the record.
Okay,
that's fair.
Yeah, well, we knew that.
Okay, guys, there's a funny story coming out of Wicked, which Wicked I feel like is everywhere right now. Everyone's talking about Wicked. Everyone is going to see Wicked. It's the interviews are endless. But Mattel goes out and they put out this Wicked toy. It's like a Barbie set or whatever. And on the back, it says go to the website, www.wicked.com. Well, the problem is when you go to wicked.com, it is a porn site. Which is, and I went to wicked.com. I did a little perusing around. It's a lot of what you would
Of course you
imagine.
did, as you would. Right.
as one would, you know.
Yeah.
It's research. I'm trying to
If
do
you will.
research for the
Right.
show.
Mhm.
But here's the thing. Is Mattel guilty of being, you know, not following through on their job, which I can't imagine whose job it was to fact check that. But
Oh man.
or
I can't.
is Wicked guilty of being too cheap to go buy out the URL wicked.com? Because, I mean, who's going to remember to go to wickedmovie.com?
Well, it isn't wicked.com make quite a bit of money.
I don't know.
I think it does. I don't think
Does
it's as
porn
easy
make
as
a lot
like
of money
just,
now?
I got a movie coming out and why don't we just like buy your URL? I think that's a little bit more complicated. I think it's the fault
Yeah.
of some idiot who works there and there's no checks and balance system. But I also thought, I could be honest with you, my first reaction was like, who goes to the back of the box and then looks up the website to buy? I never do that.
No.
No.
No, and I think that if you assumed that Wicked had a website, you would just assume it's wicked.com. So I think that's probably what happened, but the fact that it's printed behind the box. But I will tell you a little funny story. Skinny Latina,
Uh-oh.
it's all porn.
Oh, God.
Oh, is it really?
SkinnyLatina.com is my site. I own it. I have the name trademarked. But every day I get a ton of Google alerts about Skinny Latina. It used to be a porn site, and I bought it. And I can't get rid of, you know, that whoever's kink is Skinny Latinas.
I think it's a
Right.
lot of people's kinks. Just
Yeah, well,
to put that out
the
there.
fact that that's an oxymoron in itself. is,
Honestly, Anna, I think you should maybe
Interesting.
lean into that skinny Latina branding. You know,
yeah, yeah. You
do
think
some porn.
at
I feel
at
like
this point of my life?
I think so.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe.
I think it would be good for you.
Yeah.
Swinny
I have to say, by
Abuela.
the way, Real Housewives of Miami really is my favorite of all the franchises. I think that
Really?
purveyors of pop do such a great job. I
Uh-huh.
really think they are standalone. I think that show really is done the best.
Who is your favorite on the current Real Housewives of Miami?
Well, here's the thing. It's not like I have favorite housewives. For me, it's more of like, what's my favorite story that's being chased?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I feel like Alexia's life story is so complex and just interesting. I'm always interested in that. I mean, Miami is a bonkers place.
Oh,
Do you know Billy Corbin?
Yeah.
I've had him on my show reviewing it, and all of the extra stuff that he tells me about Miami, I'm like, this place is just insane.
It's nuts. It is a I hate to use the word toxic, but it is a toxic place. I think I moved recently to Charlotte, and I have to tell you that I believe it's going to add years to my life. I'm going to Miami this week, and I'll be there for 2 weeks. Have a book
God.
signing there, and I have to spend time there. But I find it exhausting.
Yeah.
It takes out every last ounce of I don't know, optimism of
Yeah.
from me. And I'm here and I'm just like, look at the deer. Everyone's so nice. Bless your heart. Even though I really know bless your heart means fuck you, I like it anyway.
It
Oh,
seems
yeah.
like it is exhausting to keep up with the lifestyle. It would be exhausting who you can trust.
And it's really a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yes, that's what
The
he said
only
too.
one that
Yeah.
had real money there is Nicole.
Yeah.
Husband.
Yeah.
Anthony. Everybody else, it's just
I'm gonna miss Nicole.
I can never understand when someone talks about their money on a Real Housewives show.
yeah.
It's
usually
cringy.
Miami is it's all new money.
But by the way,
and
it's like that here. Every smoke and mirrors here in Orange County too.
Yeah.
Well,
Somebody
I
will
was
drive a
people are
Ferrari and live in an
educated.
apartment.
so
You're like, okay.
confused with Orange County of like Shannon Bedore needing a $75,000 loan, and I was like, you divorced David. I imagine you got a shit ton of money from that. Like David Bedore, like he worked in construction. Like that's legit. Like there's big money to be made in highway construction too.
No, but then you never know because you don't know how much equity somebody has in a business. You don't know. You
guess.
never really know.
I
But I
don't
was
know.
like-
I went to OC to meet Vicky for lunch once, and we met at that mall in Newport.
Fashion Island.
Yeah, Fashion Island.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like such a perfect place. It doesn't remind me of Miami at all. Miami has little pockets that are nice, but the rest is just a banana republic.
Right.
It really is.
Mhm.
Like OC looks nice. Like
Yeah,
really
it's nice. It's
you know
nice.
what? OC also has Keith Morrison, which
Who I run into
That's-
sometimes. I see him
oh.
at Trader Joe's in
That's-
Crystal Cove a lot. Yeah.
that is the most beautiful part of OC.
Very,
for me.
very nice guy.
Beautiful.
Father
man.
of five. Father of five.
Love that man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I have one more story for you. So,
Okay.
Real Housewives of Dubai has been on pause, as Bravo puts it. Why does Bravo do this to us? Why does Bravo?
No one's buying anything.
But,
no
like-
networks aren't buying anything.
But why are we saying it's on pause? Just say it's fucking canceled so we
'Cause I
can all
think
rest.
Because I think all networks are still trying to make up the money lost from COVID, and they're really nervous about spending any money at all. So I think pausing is like we may still use this as part of our inventory, but we don't know if this is a viable risk.
Because did they come out and say Dallas was canceled, or was Dallas also put on pause?
I don't remember, but I think you can safely say it's canceled.
Well, I know, but it's just
Well, they said Miami was canceled. It came back 10 years later. I think that they
True.
have the right to, I think when they say pause, it's like we have the right to change our mind at any time and bring it back.
I just feel like as a viewer, I need to put it to rest, and then maybe it can resurrect like Jesus on Easter Sunday. I actually don't know when Jesus came back out, but
It was Easter Sunday. He is risen.
He is risen. Thank you, Jesus. I need answers. I don't like to be strung along. I just want to know, yes, we're canceling it.
I don't think any network can. It sucks because most networks, they rely on old IP. So that's why they keep those shows, because it's less of a risk. You're not really seeing new shows that have just come out of nowhere. It's kind of
so if they pause it, can another network not reboot it?
No.
Okay.
You're not going to see Real Housewives of Dubai on Hulu.
Right.
No one happened.
Yeah. Could it go on Peacock? I feel like
it could go. Yeah.
I was the only one who I feel like was watching Dubai.
Bravo might be a part of a merger right now, so there's that too. Maybe they want to hold off on everything until we see what the merger is.
Kate, how do you know these things? Tell us about that.
Because I talk to everybody.
What's the merger? Who's merging?
Looks like maybe Comcast may be buying a lot. So,
but Comcast used to own Telemundo and NBC. Didn't they buy? At some point, that was a merger.
If you look on Wall Street Journal last week, there's a whole article about it.
Yeah,
let me find my Wall Street Journal really quick.
But there is a
it's right under your like yellow tinged Financial Times.
Right.
Is it yellow or is it more pink? It's more pink, right?
I think there's a lot of movement, consolidation, and streaming, and so that could be part of the reason too that it's on pause.
Look at Ace. Ace is like his brain as if smoke is coming out of his.
There's a lot happening here. There's a lot being said. All I want Housewives in every single city. I will watch every single one. I don't ever want a lull in Housewives.
Well, you're gonna have to watch Real Housewives of London on
Hey You.
Yeah,
which I'm fine with. I'll do that.
But I don't know if they're even done casting, so I don't know when that would air. But that production company is excellent.
I would like that.
Excellent.
There is something exciting though, because it's been brought to my attention by a very good source that we're getting Real Housewives of Chicago. They've been shooting, they've been testing, they've been doing all the stuff.
Are you sure this is true?
This is from.
Can you confirm or deny, please?
I don't think this is true.
The story came to me from someone who is very close to one of the women.
Okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
The same person who had the surprise party with the dog and the peanut butter.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you look at the schedule, we're about to enter, like we're coming up on a nothing. We're gonna have no Housewives. Doesn't it make sense that we would put?
Well, it does, but I'm telling you, networks are not buying stuff. There's a complete drought. There are people that I know who are showrunners, and they're all competing for one of the very few jobs that's available.
My son-in-law is the showrunner. Well, he's a showrunner in LA. Has done all the competition shows. He just finished the Mr. Beast show with Prime, and he did. I just spit something out that's pretty. It's super hard for showrunners to even find anything to do now. Like it took him forever just to get, he's still doing post on that, but like his sister who did, a lot of reality, she has switched over to scripted because they are buying a lot of scripted, like the White Lotuses of the world and the Palm Royale. That is what's selling, and documentaries.
Not reality shows. So, documentaries and scripted, but not reality shows.
Yes. Reality TV is not selling.
Like the other day,
unless it's competition. I saw
a commercial for a new show, I think on NBC with Reba, and it's about her bar called Happy's Place or some shit like that. And I'm like, do people are still watching?
I think a lot of people
kind of television.
Did you not see what just happened with Hallmark? Hallmark is now on. You must know this, Kate. On some other big channel. Is it Hulu or Netflix? All the Hallmark movies, those feel-good, corny, cheesy movies.
But they're watched by a ton of people.
You want to see that because actual real life.
Well, in times of chaos, people want comfort.
Yes, they want comfort, and there is chaos right now, and you want more chaos. Like
my comfort is women screaming at each other. That is my comfort. That is where I feel my best because I don't go out into the world. I don't see people. I don't talk to people. So
Right, but you're in the
Right.
minority right now. Honestly,
Yeah.
I really think that. Like yesterday, I
Mhm.
had some people here, and I was like, "Shit, I have to watch, the reunion." And my friend who came in from Miami, she's like, "Please don't do that to me. I cannot right now
Right
hear
now,
those
yeah.
women screaming."
Yeah.
So I had to watch it, by myself with my headphones on my computer.
Well,
Are we-
last week I found that I was listening a lot to the 80s channel on Sirius Radio because I
Yeah.
just needed to like numb out.
Yeah, and to like a better, happier time. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, November 1st, I immediately started Christmas music. My wife is
There you go.
very
There you
over
go.
that. She does not like Christmas music. She doesn't care for it. But I
Not
said,
till after Thanksgiving.
nope, November
There's the
1st is when
rule.
you
But
start.
you needed it. That's our point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then what? Is reality TV coming to an end? Are we done here? Are
I think-
Housewives
I don't-
going away?
I think maybe in like Q3 of 2025, I suspect that you're going to see a lot more shows being purchased. But it's been a real, I can't tell you how many people that I know who've tried to sell shows and there's just no one buying anything right now.
Q3 2025.
I would say
Wow.
so.
Oh,
So
I
what
can't
are you
wait.
going to do until then, Ace?
Well, I'm going to first figure out when Q3
I'll give you
is.
documentaries. I'll give you
What does
documentaries. to
Q3
watch.
mean?
I
does
know what
Q
it means.
mean?
I just don't know when Q3 starts and ends. So I'll be waiting for Q3. I love a documentary, guys, this has been so much fun. Kate,
So much
Thank
fun.
bring
you.
a totally different element to
I
this
know.
show.
Was I a
Like,
downer? I feel like I was a
no,
downer.
you're
no,
so
you have
about
smart.
not. It's so nice.
And I'll say this, I feel like you brought it up so much. Like I felt like I saw Anna really come up with you. Like Anna was like, "Oh yeah, I know this. I know this shit that I'm talking about." Usually Anna's like, "Well, I kind of half read it."
Oh, yeah.
But this
No, but
time
when
she
you
was
I
told
like,
love
me
a
yesterday,
smart
I was gonna
broad.
be
I
like, no, I got her.
love a smart broad. That's my
Yeah.
favorite.
she was
Yeah.
she was on her game today,
See?
and
In
I'm still
pajamas
just
and carb face, but I was here.
Listen.
I showed up, guys.
I
Kate,
loved it.
But
where
thank you,
can we
Kate.
find
So great
your
to have you.
podcast and when does it come out?
Okay, daily podcast, Monday through Saturday. Monday, I tell you what to watch.
Okay.
In unscripted TV. Tuesday through Friday, interviews. Saturday, I have really cool people who have cool stories in my Saturday series episode. I've got a what to watch list that I put out every week at katecasey.substack.com. You got to sign up for it. But I will tell you what to watch each week. And I feel like I save a lot of couples in the meantime. You're not going to scroll anymore. I'm going to give you really good documentaries, series, and reality shows. And Instagram at KKCCA, TikTok it's KKC, Twitter and Threads at KKC, Patreon, whole thing.
You know what is so crazy
You're in
about
awe
you
of
is
her. I
she's
can tell you're in awe of her. I see your face.
she's so multifaceted because
Yeah.
it's like you talk about reality TV, but then you listen to like the interviews that you do, and they're always so deep, especially your
Insightful.
Saturdays. Like it's
Oh yeah, the last Saturday I had a really, really great guy.
it's crazy. So I
Really
love
great guy.
listening to it.
But you know what? By the way, this week I've got the director of I'm actually interviewing today. He directed the Martha Stewart doc and also
Oh,
the
God.
forthcoming one on Elton John. And then I've got Ashley Banfield from News Nation talking about true crime. Do you know she was a reporter? Do you remember this? Anna, when she was a reporter on September 11th?
Yes, yes.
Do you remember she was reporting when World Trade Center, which World Trade Center 7, my sister was in that building actually. She was reporting as it was like
coming down.
Coming
as it was
down.
starting to
Yeah.
She was standing right there.
standing right there. So anyway,
Holy
I'm excited
shit.
to talk to her about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Again,
great.
when I said that Kate really slumped down to come over here with us, we
Why do you
appreciate
say that? I just interviewed Janelle on Sister Wives. Like I talk to everybody. If you're like I went out yesterday to Irvine Improv and I talked to somebody for like 20 minutes and I found out like all about their family. Like I love to just talk
I think
to people.
that's what makes you special, Kate, that you can, talk about Q3 and Q4 that Ace doesn't understand, but you can also you speak everybody's language. And really, honestly, that's I've always said that's what makes any kind of person on a social platform or any kind of medium, when you are aspirational and relatable at the same time, that's the secret sauce. Very few people have that. Very few housewives have that. And you have that as a podcaster.
Thank you. I
Definitely.
appreciate that.
Kate, thank you so much for being here. We love you. I hope you
Wait,
come back.
last question.
Yeah.
Have I convinced you that Todd's diabolical husband?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Terrible.
I just
Terrible
remembered.
man.
Awesome.
Now, tomorrow, Salt Lake will be back on. I'm sure that I'll flip again.
I hope you
What
do.
happened with Sister Wives? Wasn't it on last night? I could not
Yes.
find it.
It was on, but it doesn't come onto the streaming until the next day now.
Oh, no, but I was trying to watch it live. I don't know what happened.
Bastard.
Well, let's guess what happened. Nothing.
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 Actually, I
It
will
was a
say this.
baptism or something.
Well, we're still trying to figure out why it was called baptism by fire. Couldn't quite figure that one out. But I will say this: we did get financial conversations, which we don't normally get.
Okay.
But unfortunately, Janelle went to Mary and was like, "Hey, I think that we need to be looking into this more." And Mary was like, whoa, Cody's a great guy. He's not going to screw us over." And I thought, you fucking idiot.
God.
Oh.
See, there are people like that. There are
Mhm.
people like that.
It's very sad, but
Yeah.
thank you, Kate, for being
Thank
here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for
so
being
much.
here. Thank you, Pat, for producing. Thank you to myself. And of course, thank you, Beyonce. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you,
Good point.
Oh, and
Thank you for
no
doing that.
thank you to anyone who felt the need to go on their Patreon and talk shit about us. Fuck you. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Agreed.
If you enjoyed this podcast episode, if you enjoyed Kate Casey, go and leave us a 5-star review. Nothing else. We are much like Housewives. We do not want to look inward. We do not want to grow as people. Think of us as your own version of Ramona Singer. That's how we're going through this life. Thank you.
All right, and court is adjourned. Thank you so much. Until next time.